Alright guys, this is going to be a very basic vlog. Got a new chain and sprocket kit on. I had 66 in the rear, down one in the front. Now I'm stock in the front and 62 in the rear. Bike's got a lot more top end this way now. So I don't really ever get too personal with you guys, but been having some shitty ass luck this week so far, and I don't know what happened to me yesterday. I figured I'd be able to share with you guys something you guys could probably learn from as well. I guess the reason I'm wanting to tell you guys this story is just for the fact that it can really happen to any of us, and even if you're just kind of minding your own business trying to get to work or whatever the case may be. Alright, so this is pretty much the setup yesterday. When I was riding to work, I was borrowing my buddy's bike because I was getting the chain and sprocket put on, so I didn't have a chance to ride my bike to work, so he offered to let me ride his to work. And I really don't like borrowing people's bikes, just for pretty much what happened with this story. So I was in the middle lane right here, not in this road, but I was in the middle lane, same setup, and there's a bunch of cars around me. I'll even get in the middle lane for example. So I'm in the lane, just going the speed limit, flow of traffic, and there's cars around me. There's a truck here, car in front of me, car here. And then there's a median that isn't for U-turns. It's just to cut across. You don't sit there. It's not enough room for a car to sit there. So I see a Dodge Charger whip into that median real quick, and I'm in the middle lane. There's a bunch of cars everywhere. And when he whips in the middle lane, or in the median, he just cuts everybody off and just busts a big ass U-turn wide enough to take up this lane and this lane, making the U-turn. So all the cars in the flow of traffic with me in my little cluster, we all slam on our brakes, and everybody instinctively cuts over one lane over so they can get out of the way of the car, the Charger, making the U-turn. So this car cuts over, cuts in front of me, and I cut over, and while I'm cutting over, there's a car next to me as well. So two cars cut over into my lane, one in front of me and one next to me. So it's like one of those situations where, like, when you're cutting over and you're like, oh, and you're looking over, making sure it doesn't hit your side. That's what happened. And then by the time I looked over, like, oh, and I'm in the other lane, there's a fucking Tundra right in front of me in this lane, pulling into the gas station, going like dead stop, turning in, just making a complete stop, turning in there. So with that being said, I was dead center right here, and the last thing I could do, because it was just too quick after I looked over, was just pull all the way to the left, and then I fucking clipped his tail. And the bike didn't even really hit the truck that hard. It just barely pinched it to where it flew the bike and me airborne, and the bike landed on top of my leg. So I'm just kind of like laying there at this point, and I could already tell while I was laying there I wasn't too bad as far as like banged up and everything. And this guy comes running up in cowboy boots, whoever you are, thank you, and he was like, hey, you all right? And I'm like, yeah, I need help. He's like, I'm calling 911. And he starts walking away, and I'm like, can you help me pick the bike up, man? And I'm like trying to pick it up the whole time. So we finally got the bike picked up, and I worked it out with the guy, because I mean, he understood that it wasn't necessarily my fault. Yes, I did clip the back of him, but it was the guy in the Charger that cut off all the traffic, that made everybody switch over. And I'm not gonna rear end, or I didn't want to get sideswiped by another car, and I rear-ended another one instead. So that fucking sucks. As for my buddy's bike though, it's a stunt bike, so he had all the crash cage and stuff on that, and like I said, I barely clipped the truck, so it just broke the front fairing off. It's a 0304 636, so I'm looking to buy those parts to replace his parts that broke on his bike. It needs a 05 06 front fender, and then 0304 front fairing stay, headlight, and front fairing. So I mean, for clipping the back of a truck, that's not that bad of damage. I'm thankful I'm not too banged up. And as for the truck, the bumper's just got a little dent in it, and the tailgate has like a little smear of the paint. It's not even cracked or scratched or anything like that. It's just like the paint smeared. You can buff it out. But the amount of speed I was going, like, I mean, if you're going like 40 miles an hour with the flow of traffic and the truck's at a dead stop, that's a nice, pretty fast impact. So I was just laying on the ground waiting to get up off the ground and check out the dude's truck. I was more concerned about how much damage I did to his truck, and I assumed I broke a tail light or did this or did that, but just the way it all happened, I'm just thankful nothing, there wasn't too much major damage. So I thought I'd show you guys that story. I'm doing okay. I'm just banged up. I got some scratches here and there, but that's the name of the game. I mean, I had a bad vibe about riding to work, but I was kind of cutting short on time. So the thing I had a bad vibe about was more so riding my buddy's bike to work, since I wanted to ride mine. I'm just super bummed because as much work and money I'm putting into my bike right now, getting it nicer and nicer every day, the worst thing I can do is mess up one of my friends, something of my friends, or just somebody I care about. I'm fucking up their vehicles and stuff. So I just, as bad as or as much as I love this bike and how it's turning out, I just wish it wasn't my buddy's bike I would have fucking hit the car with. So everything's good, but the guy driving the truck, I really do appreciate how understanding you were, because he did see the Tundra cut everyone off. So he was kind of understanding as far as not kicking me in the balls about insurance and all that good stuff, because the bike's insured, everything was registered, I'm completely clean. But it's the fact that I couldn't do anything in that situation, so I don't really want to, I shouldn't have to be hit with the book, you know. And in those kind of situations, if that kind of stuff happens, I mean, we understand with people, we're all human. So hope you guys have an excellent day. Me, on the other hand, this camera is completely broken, so that's why my angle sucks. I apologize. I just want to give you guys some kind of update video and give you not a cool story, but something interesting to listen to. Oh yeah, and I'm at T-Mobile now because I need to get a hold of Apple and get this phone replaced. Yep, so that's the proof. I fucking destroyed a bunch of stuff. Alright guys, later. And I'm like, hello, it's good to finally let go. I ain't worried about a thing. I just like to keep it mellow. Yeah, I like to keep it mellow. I smoke and keep it mellow. I drink and